Hello, everybody. My name is Parker Wirtz, and I'm a junior at Gull Lake High School. I am taking computer science and software engineering, and I'm part of the career and technical education program at KRESA. This is a virtual machine and is loading Ubuntu 22, my operating system, and I'm going to show you how to make it in this video and some stuff that you need to know to be able to do that. So I'm going to power off my system right here so that I can correctly get rid of it. So that it won't be a problem for later. So I'm going to pause the video while I'm getting this thing going. Alrighty, so we're going to click create a virtual machine and find an ISO file in my file management that I have set up here. So I went to my, this PC and the users so that I could get to a thing that would make this virtual machine run way faster than it would if it was just like on my normal desktop. And then I'm going to go to virtual machines, Linux and Ubuntu, find my ISO file directory, because that's what it's asking for, and click on my Ubuntu 22. I'm going to hit next and type in my full name just as it asks. This is in my hypervisor 2 called VMware Workstation. I'm going to use my last name. And I'll type in my password. Get a good one, you know what I'm saying? High security. Oh, all lowercase. Silly me. So this is the name that's going to be over here. 22. And this will be the location of the operating system. But because I already have this operating system, I'm going to go back and delete it and come back, okay? My bad. Alright, I got back here after deleting the other one. This is what it's going to be called over here in Ubuntu 22. And this is asking for my file of the operating system. So I'm going to go to my username, into my computer science directory, go to virtual machines, and now it doesn't have an operating system directory, so I'm going to bring over my file manager, or file explorer, rather, and I'm going to make that new directory, because I really need that. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-N and just type OS for operating system. I'm going to pull that back over and open this file directory, and it's going to be good. We're going to want 60 gigabytes of disk size and into multiple so it runs faster. Customize my hardware and give myself 8 gigabytes of RAM because we're not going to want too much or too little because this is running over everything else. It's borrowing stuff from my host computer, which is Windows 11, and I'm going to give it 3 cores, which is half of what I have. And the only reason why I know this is because I used the run prompt Windows R and typed this thing right here to open my system information. You can also type in the search bar using just the Windows key and type system information, and it'll give this to you too. But as you can see here, I have 6 cores, so 3 would be half. And down here, I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. So 8 wouldn't be that much compared to anything, and this is a pretty fast VM, or virtual machine, so it'll work pretty well. You can also go into your components into storage and drives to find how much space you have left. And this basically just gives you a bunch of stuff that otherwise you wouldn't have known. Alright, back to making my virtual machine. Once you've customized everything, you can hit finish in the program VMware will go ahead and start making it. So I'm going to pause the video while it's creating it, and I'll get back to you shortly. Alright, now this is the setup. Pretty self-explanatory. Select your language that you want. I love English. Pretty good language. Normal installation, and I'm going to unclick this so it loads faster. You can download this later through the actual VM inside the hypervisor, which is VM workstation. Yes, we're going to want to erase all disk data, which you don't have to worry about this because it's just trying to delete everything that's on our hypervisor, which is just an application, so it won't be able to do anything to our actual host. Then you're going to want to select your area for your time zone and make your I want this to be my username. I'm going to choose my password. Press tab to go over to the next box without having to use my mouse. Awesome tech tip. I'm going to pause while this loads. Okay, so now that it's installing, I'm going to walk you through some of my notes about this stuff. So virtual machines, I'm going to use the ChatGPT AI produced one, is a software-based simulation of a computer that runs in an operating system. An application is just like your physical computer, and like it basically is just a computer inside a computer, which I think is pretty cool. A key feature of a virtual machine is that it isolates everything. So like if you happen to get like a virus or something on it, it won't affect your actual host computer. And this is really useful in like hacking and stuff, ethically of course, but it allows your computer not to be like destroyed if someone accidentally or purposely gets a hold of your stuff. So I'm going to use this link to go to my hypervisor's notes inside my virtual machines directory. And there's two type of hypervisors. Let's check on my thing. Alright, it's pretty close. Type 1 runs directly on the host hardware. So like this would be, instead of opening Windows 11, you'd be opening your hypervisor. And the type 2 hypervisor, which is like VMware Workstation, it loads like an application like Google or something right over whatever your host is, which in my case is Windows 11, which you can find in your My System Information 32. See, Windows 11 Education, because I'm at school using their computer. Alright, it's still going. I'm going to go back through my file path and go to my host computers. Clicking this will bring me to my specs, which I showed you earlier, but is a key resource to know how to get, like how to set up your virtual machine. I'm going to go over to building my VM, which I walked you through this process earlier, but these are just some screenshots of it if I wanted to review them later. And it's super duper important to back up your virtual machine. And I'm using Linux, which is why that's the title of my notes. But like this is saying, it protects your data if you back it up. So like, let's say someone accidentally spills water on my computer at school. If I had a backup, then I can recover my data and put it on a new computer once we get one. But if I didn't have a backup, once that computer is gone, it's gone forever, meaning that I would have lost so many hours of my precious hard work. And this can help like businesses and stuff too, because if they lose something because like their building or something hits by a tornado or other natural disaster, they'll have backups so they can recover their money and whatnot. The computer hardware, which is like the main stuff, like the CPU and RAM that I was talking about, this is the notes for it. I'll come back to that though. I'm going to walk you through this. So it's going to ask you to restart your VM. So I'm going to do that. You see how my mouse is gone? I'm going to do Control and Alt to bring it back. And I'm just going to wait for this to load up, okay? Alright, I'm gonna log in using my username and password that I previously already did. When I set it up, I'm gonna full screen this and do Control Alt Enter to go into full screen. But sometimes it doesn't work because computers still aren't perfect. I'm just gonna skip all this. Wait, whatever. Just so I can get into my virtual machine. And now you can do just about anything. Like I'm gonna open this and I can search up whatever I want. For example, YouTube, because why not? Or you can watch my video. Yep. See, it literally works like Windows 11, just on a program inside of a computer. So if I do Control Alt, okay, whatever. It's not gonna work. Yep, computer inside a computer. Alright, back to the notes. The CPU, which is like the brains of the operation inside the computer, is the main component of the computer. It's called the central processing unit. It obviously like processes everything. And it does the ones and zeros, everything that the computer needs. Performs the calculations, directs the operation of processors, and can tell stuff to store other stuff. It works by retrieving instructions from the memory, interprets those instructions, which are all just ones and zeros, and carries out those instructions to do whatever you need, like open my VM. The RAM, or random access memory, is basically storage of the stuff that you're doing. So like if I were to open a gazillion Google tabs, that's all going into the RAM. So like if I were to go back to this one, it would remember what I typed here. So like I did that and I typed this and go back to it and now I remembered. Pretty cool, right? RAM is very important. It allows you to run stuff. This is what it looks like. And the motherboard. Lastly, the hard drive, otherwise known as the HDD or sometimes the SSD, is it has data storage to store absolutely everything. So like it'll be storing my VM or my backup files of everything. See how this? The hard drive is a thing that remembers everything even when the computer's turned off, unlike RAM. And the hard drive, like the HD or whatever, or the HDD, uses magnets to store ones and zeros. And there's a spinning thing that will read it. The hard drive actually spins and that reads it. The internal hard drives are installed inside the computer and basically just connect directly to the motherboard so that it's right there. But external hard drives, like a flash drive, you can move around and have other stuff connected to it. Very important stuff, a computer. So, thanks for watching, and continue watching more of my vlogs so you can learn about the computer stuff that I'm learning at school. Thank you. Goodbye.